Good afternoon to everyone. This is Nancy Morris from the Maine Health Management Coalition. Today we have reps from 3-member coalition organizations. Hannaford Brothers, Julie Green will be joining us. We also have a representative from Maine Health. Lori Mitchell will be joining us. And finally, one of our newest members, Nutrisavings, will be represented by Paul Gilpin. Before we begin the presentation and I turn over the controls to Paul, I just want to remind you to save the date of October 15th. We will be having our annual symposium at USM in Portland. There's free parking, and all members of the Maine Health Management Coalition also get a free ticket to the symposium. Please mark that date. We're going to have several interesting speakers and some events that I think you will find very helpful. So please remember to join us on October 15th at USM in Portland. So now, without further delay, I'm going to introduce Paul Gilpin, who's going to begin the presentation. Paul asks that you save your questions for the end of the presentation, although you can jot them down in the chat room at any time. Paul will then respond to them at the end of the presentation. And again, the session will be recorded today, so you may listen in again or share it with others in your organization by supplying your email address to us. You can do so in the chat room if you didn't when you signed on this morning or this afternoon. Thank you. Okay, Paul, you ready to begin?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Nancy mentioned, I'm Paul Gilpin, and I'm the Director of Business Development with Nutrisavings. I want to extend a sincere appreciation and thank you to Nancy Morris and Trevor at the Coalition for agreeing to sponsor this webinar. They've been very gracious and very helpful through the process. I also want to extend thanks to my co-presenters, Lori Mitchell with Maine Health and Julie Green with Hannaford. They stepped up to really partner with me in this effort in order to provide this educational session on Nutrisavings and how people can begin to make healthier choices at the grocery store. So thank you to them as well. I'd like to begin by just throwing out a quote I heard recently by Thomas Frieden. Thomas Frieden is the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And he recently warned obesity and the resulting diabetes, as well as hypertension to a large extent, are the only major health problems that are getting worse in this country, and they're getting worse rapidly. Expense related to obesity in most organizations has now outstripped costs tied to stress management, smoking cessation, and addiction intervention. And he proposes the solution that we really have to simply eat our way out of this predicament, period. Nutrition is the key driver behind preventive health for most anyone, and the reality is eating is not an option, whereas exercise is. He then goes on to say that as part of all-important workplace wellness, employers are in a very unique position for supporting nutrition habit change beyond supplying the occasional Eat More Veggies seminar in leafy green vending machine options. So I just wanted to say that to kind of preface my remarks, because at Nutrisavings, we feel there are two things that really contribute to a healthy lifestyle. Activity, and we're all for activity and exercise and so on. But the bigger piece in that equation, we feel, is good nutrition. And for that reason, we committed to building a solution that provides for incentives for people as they shop for food in the grocery store. When they purchase healthy foods. We see this first step as a precursor to people eating healthy, because the first step before one can eat healthy is for one to buy healthy, and that's where Nutrisavings comes in. The other thing we found, we did some focus groups early on with Towers Watson, and in those groups we heard more than once that people had a desire to eat healthy, but oftentimes they had a perception that it was just too expensive. So our solution addresses that issue as well, because there was a Harvard School of Public Health study done not too long ago that said, in fact, it is a bit more costly to eat healthy. So our solution tries to address that as well by providing rewards to people for making healthy choices. So, what is Nutrisavings? Nutrisavings is an employee benefit that focuses in the wellness space and then focused on nutrition. It's a solution that's going to help people shop healthy, eat healthy, and earn rewards. We consider ourselves, for most organizations we do business with, really a digital nutritional partner. We not only have a site that people can go on, on their laptop or tablet and so on, but we also have a mobile app, which is very, very convenient for people as they shop in the grocery store. So our solution, first and foremost, serves as a trusted guide and an online resource for employees who seek to shop healthier. It also is going to motivate users to shop healthy with an innovative scoring system that identifies healthy foods, also providing recipes and nutritional articles and nutritional tips in various areas. And lastly, but not least, we incentivize. So we're going to reward participants for purchasing healthy food and beverage items with savings at the grocery store. We kind of meet people where they are. And I think we all can agree that we probably, all of us shop maybe 1 to 2 to 3 times a week. So it's something people do quite frequently, and the rewards that come around that frequent shopping, we feel are very sustainable in motivating people to continue to shop healthy. So we've created what we sometimes refer to as the Nutrisavings ecosystem. And that ecosystem is made up of several partners. First and foremost, at the center of it are employers. And then at the center of that, of course, are their employees. Our first and foremost desire is to provide the means to allow people to shop healthier and begin to eat healthier. We do this with a number of partners in the grocery retail space. You'll hear from Julie Green today at Hannaford, who really stepped up in quite an extraordinary way in helping us launch Maine Health. But the grocery retailers, without them, we wouldn't have a program. So they're very, very important. And in fact, the grocery retailers today are just as concerned about providing healthy options to their employees as well as to their customers. So that's why their mission is right in line with us. You see here a circle called Food Brand Manufacturers and Growers. Very important to the Nutrisavings program as we source incentives from the growers of produce as well as consumer brand manufacturers of food. So, think of Chiquita, you think of Green Giant, Bird's Eye, and the like. We're going to them, asking them to make healthy offers in the way of an e-coupon into our system. And then, of course, you look at health plans and wellness companies. We consider them more channel partners, where they would be there to provide a channel distribution, if you will, of our solution. It's not to say a health plan cannot offer to their own employees, because they certainly can, but then they would be a partner to offer it to their existing customers, as with the wellness companies. I'm sure you recognize the first name up there, Maine Health, up in Portland. Very tremendously valued partner and client of Nutrisavings. They just launched Nutrisavings mid-June to just over 17,000 eligible employees. And we'll talk a little bit about how they did that and some of the communication tactics they used in order to make the launch successful. Another plan you probably have heard about, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, launched back in October. They actually were our first customer, and again, their plan was to offer it to their own employees and then begin to offer it to their self-insured customers, of which EMC is one. And then Vitality is a national wellness company that's known to quite a few folks, not maybe as much up in the Maine area, but very well known across the country. They're offering it to all of their customers. And then Wellness Workdays is a small wellness company located here in Massachusetts that's offering it through their portal to their employer customers as well. So we're very, very happy, very proud and very thankful for the customers we have today. And we have quite a pipeline of other customers that are looking to come on board. So, all right, so we talked about shop healthy and earn rewards. There are two groups of incentives we talk about. On the left-hand side, we refer to those as funded incentives. And the funded incentives would come from a sponsor of Nutrisavings, typically an employer or a health plan, where they decide to put money into the program in order to provide additional motivation and incentive for their employees to begin to buy healthy foods. You'll see right here, there's an example. It's called a wellness benefit, but this example says that this employer is going to offer 20% reimbursement on purchases with scores over 70, and that's at a maximum of $30 a month. That's an example of a incentive design an employer could choose to use. The incentive designs we'll show you on the next page are very, very flexible, depending upon the organization and what priorities and what focus they have. But generally, if you offer, kind of a reimbursement on a monthly basis, it's always good to put a little cap on that, in which case we're showing here a $30 cap. And we'll go into a little bit more about how that works in just a moment. The other group of incentives we refer to are unfunded incentives. This is kind of the gravy, if you will, and that's probably not a good term to use, but these incentives are being provided on our platform, on our site, or on your mobile phone through food brand manufacturers and growers. We refer to them often as e-offers. And there's one as an example here. You see that this is an offer for $1 off of 5 cups of Yoplait Greek yogurt. On our site, what you would simply do is click that little button that says, I want this, and that would go from the offer page over to your shopping list. So one of the features about our solution is that individuals can actually build a shopping list that they could either print out prior to going to the supermarket or actually view on their mobile phone as they're shopping in the supermarket. So I referred to Hannaford as being a special partner of ours. They certainly were and continue to be. They stepped up here in the way of making some very special offers to the Maine Health launch. And what they did was they actually put on our site a number of healthy offers on their private label products. This is just a sample of one on the screen here showing you $1 off Nature's Place organic fresh greens. You'll always see that the offer is always going to obviously have the amount of the offer and the score of that product. I'll go into a little bit about the scoring system in just a moment, but our scoring system, our nutritional scoring system ranges from 0 to 100, 100 being the best, 0 the worst. So produce will always score 100 on our system. What I would like to do now is I'm going to just leave the PowerPoint for just a moment. And I'm going to bring up, because I really think that Hannaford did such a great job making healthy offers into the system. I'm going to show you those offers actually on our site now. Let me just talk a moment just so you understand the navigation here. This is the actual application, the site of our solution here, Nutrisavings. And when you come on the site here, you're going to go to the home page. That's going to show you a number of shopping trips that you would have, the most recent 4 shopping trips. You can search for food. I'm on the offers tab right now, which has brought up only the Hannaford offers because I clicked on Hannaford as a special retailer. If you wanted to see all the offers, you would just come over here and click on that. You're always going to have your rewards right facing you, your nutritional score for year to date. And then this is kind of a cool bar graph here. It's going to show you what an individual has earned for the month and what the potential earnings could be for incentives for that particular month. So what I'll do here, and Julie, if you'd like to chime in and talk a little bit about, the nature of how you came to decide on the offers to put on the site, you could certainly do that. And I'll just scroll through some of them.
Sure. Thank you, Paul. As you can see, the products that we offer range from Hannaford brand to our Nature's Place brand. It includes some of our kind of more gourmet choices, but all of them are healthy and all of them are affordable. And for us, this provided a great opportunity for Hannaford to showcase great fresh products that that all nutritionists are encouraging more of. So that we also, it gives us a platform. Nutrisavings gave us a platform to reach shoppers in a different way. So to us, it was really intriguing to say, hey, we hope that Hannaford is your destination for nutritious food, and here we know that cost is the #1 barrier to people being able to make healthy choices. So we wanted to go even further by saying, hey, try out our store brand products. They're going to be your best value in the whole store, and look how many affordable, healthy choices there are. So we really appreciated this partnership and are hearing some great feedback from participants on their appreciation for getting some financial relief and some cheerleading in their efforts to make good choices.
Thank you, Julie, and that's so true. And if you look at the offers, I mean, I don't know about you folks, but these offers are so far and above anything you'd see in your Sunday circular or anything like that. I mean, look at this, $1 off, $1 off, 75 cents. I mean, most of the coupons I see today might be for, if you buy, 2 or 3 items, you might get $1 off, but most of them are usually like 25, 30 cents or whatever. So very, very generous offers, and like I said, they really stepped up in a big way. And I think that really influenced a lot as we did some on-site enrollments at Maine Health. When we had an opportunity to show them the site and show them some of the offers, they were, most people I talked to were very, very excited about it. So, again, thank you to Hannaford for that. And thank you, Julie. Let me go back here. Okay, we talked about flexibility in the employer incentive models. I'll just give you 3 examples of what an employer could do in designing an incentive program for Nutrisavings. So we have employer A. Well, employer A says we're going to focus on product. So employer A decides they're going to give 10% cash back on fresh fruits and vegetables, capped at $30 a month. And then what we say is the milestone is an incentive for every shopping trip for fresh fruits and vegetables. Employer B, on the other hand, says, well, we don't want to just limit our employees to maybe just one type of product, but we want to make sure they're going to be eating healthy. So we're going to incentivize around products with high scores. In this case, we see 10% cash back for items scoring between 80 and 90, and 15% cash back for items scoring between 91 and 100. And again, the milestone is for every time you go to the store and purchase items with high scores, you're going to be receiving that kind of incentive. And then employer C says, well, we're not going to be that concerned with the individual scores of individual food and beverage items. We want to look at what the average basket score would be for an individual as they go through various shopping trips. So employer C says, we're going to give $20 a month for a monthly average basket score of 60 or higher. And again, if you have 60 or higher on a monthly basket score, you would get $20. So this is really just a slide to say we can work with you in a number of ways in crafting an employer incentive on the Nutrisavings program. Very, very flexible. And then I decided to put up here Maine Health's incentive plan. And I'd like Lori, if you could just jump on and talk about this a little. One of the things I will preface here before Lori makes her remarks is the fact that we can work with existing wellness incentives. So if a company already has a program in place where they're dealing with points, they have raffles, they do various kind of things right now, Nutrisavings can be part of that existing program. Many employers don't have to seek or find additional monies in order to do Nutrisavings, and that I think makes it really good. I know it was very attractive to Maine Health for that reason. So, Lori, do you want to just explain that a little bit?
Sure. Thank you, Paul, and
Sure.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining this afternoon. When Maine Health was considering Nutrisavings, we wanted to make sure that it could dovetail into one of our existing incentive programs, and it turned out that it actually worked quite well with our WOW, our Works on Wellness program, Healthy Paybacks Incentive. And this is a program whereby employees can earn up to $50 back every 6 months for participation in any sort of health or wellness activity that they pay out of pocket for. So they typically will, say, enter a road race or take a class or join a gym, and then they send in their form and proof of payment to Maine Health, and every 6 months they can get up to $50 back for participating in that health or wellness related activity. So we said, well, the Nutrisavings program can fit into that format, and and people are already shopping, so let's just encourage them to shop healthier. So we named our program Cash for Your Cart, and our criteria for the healthy payback for employees was that is that they need to shop at least twice a month at a participating grocery store. They need to achieve an average cart score of 60 or higher, and then they can earn $10 a month up to $50 every 6 months if they meet that criteria. And the added bonus for our employees is that they have no form to fill out, because Nutrisavings will provide us with a file feed of the employees who met that criteria, and then we just fund their incentive in their regular paycheck. So that was a very attractive element of this program for employees, aside from the fact that it was new and different, and has really primarily attracted employees who had not participated in the Healthy Payback program ever. So we're attracting a whole new group of employees in this in the Healthy Payback program as a result of the Cash for Your Cart program.
Thank you, Lori. That was great, and I think from my experience talking to other employers and so on, and you know, the participation percentage that, you know, a lot of wellness programs have out there, you know, they struggle a bit to attract and retain people for participation. But, you know, one of the things we always say is that, you know, everybody does shop. So it really casts a very wide net to attract those people, even people that, you know, were tending to be reluctant to do other things will jump on this because it's easy. I know talking with a couple of Maine Health employees, they found it attractive as well because, as it says here, no need to fill out a healthy payback form. You know, just that alone, just that little piece of paperwork they don't have to do made it that much more attractive to jump on board. So thank you, Lori. So how does it work? We know in wellness, in order to engage and keep people engaged on a sustainable basis, it really has to be easy and intuitive. So employees learn about Nutrisavings through their employer or health plan and simply enroll online. Very, very easy to do. It takes probably less than 2 minutes. Then they register their shopper loyalty card or other unique identifier. The way we track one shopping in the grocery store is typically with a shopper loyalty card. For those retailers that do not have cards, we would have to come up with another means to do that. So we would develop, you know, our own identifier and maybe put it on a key fob or something like that. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. But you'll see here My Hannaford, and many people aren't that aware of My Hannaford stickers. This allows us to track one shopping at Hannaford. Shaw's being the other retailer, they have their own, even though they got rid of their shopper loyalty card that most of us knew, they still have a card with You Promise that allows us to track one shopping in their stores as well. And then they're going to shop, employees are going to shop as they usually do. And what Nutrisavings is going to do is we score their baskets, providing education, recipes, and incentives based on purchases at the supermarket. So we will calculate incentives only on those items that the employer has decided to incent. We get this question all the time, you know, it's oh goodness, big brother, now my employer is going to find out everything I'm buying at the grocery store. That is not the case. when somebody signs up for Nutrisavings, they're going to opt into the program simply by enrolling their shop with loyalty card. And then we honor your employees' privacy where they acknowledge this statement that says, I allow the stores selected above to share my purchase information with this program's administrators, knowing that the information will not be shared with my employer or health plan. The information which we share with the employer or health plan may be de-identified information on aggregated scores, participations, rates and things like that, how many people registered a loyalty card, how many enrolled in the program, that kind of thing. So the details of anyone's shopping trip would never be shared with the employer. Affiliated supermarkets, as I'd mentioned, our grocery retail partners are extremely important to the success of our program. We have about 65 to 70% of the market on board today. There are some retailers that aren't in the affiliated network today. Anyone that's not in the network, we are actively talking to. I can even give you some of the names right now, although I think our discussions with Market Basket are probably on hold for a little bit. Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, BJ's, some of the box retailers, and so on. These are all organizations, unfortunately, that are not on board today, but we are in discussions to bring them aboard. And having such a large retail network, it does allow us to track behavior change across retail banners, which makes it important. So up in Maine, we have Hannaford, we have Shaw's, we also have Food City. In New England, we go a little bit beyond that. We have Stop and Shop. We have here in Massachusetts, Roach Brothers, and one that's coming into New England, in fact in Massachusetts, is Wegmans. So those are other retailers in the New England area we do have. But certainly Hannaford is first and foremost, our preferred partner. Shaw's is a great partner as well, but certainly Hannaford, I think, having the commitment to the community, because obviously corporately they're located there, is a partner in a very, very different way. So one of the things we always talk about is, how do you engage people? You have to communicate, you have to stay in touch. You have to, if you're going to communicate, you have to have communications that are appealing and, kind of fun and attractive to people. So generally every Thursday, we send a communication that will let people know various healthy e-offers that they could peruse on the site. So that communication generally goes out on a Thursday to kind of coincide with typical shopping habits of the American consumer. A lot of us get paid, Thursday, Friday, and we think of going shopping probably both those days. So that's what we do with this. The other communication we send, which I know everybody in my company, other people I've talked to that get these emails, love them. I know Lori Mitchell does. And this is one that was sent to Lori on a shopping trip that she had, indicating, hey, your recent trip your shopping trip to Hannaford has been scored. Click here to get the details. So this is kind of a high-level view of, hey, you've purchased so many items, you've received an average basket score. If it was a bit higher, Lori probably would have gotten some savings on this trip. And then you can click to get the details, and you could get the details of all items you purchased and the associated scores and so on. Do you want to comment on this at all, Lori?
Only that, well, first of all, this type of email is very engaging, and it's one of different types of emails that come from Nutrisavings, and it really prompts the end user to go and find out, oh wow, I was an average cart score of 59, and I had forgotten about this shopping trip, but I did remember that my daughter went with me, and she had thrown in some Oreos, some brownie mix, and some ice cream into the shopping cart, and I said, okay, so this is why I have an average cart score of 59 instead of 70 maybe, but because I did notice that, to my surprise, that cranberry juice has a score of 37, and what else here? Oh, and Oreos only get a 4. So it brought me down a little bit. But the point of this is really just to provide an example of the type of engagement emails that come from Nutrisavings, which I personally find to be very interesting and prompt even me, a nutritionist, to go and find out what happened in that shopping trip.
Yeah, very true. In fact, Lori and I were talking about when she mentioned the communication about the shopping trip. I think she brought up, and the recipes are great too. Like when you get the recipe notification and things like that. So this is one that would show, a weekly recipe, kind of a featured recipe of the week. Normally, the communication itself will have all the details about even how to make it, the ingredients, and so on. Or you could just click on there, and it would bring you right to our site that would provide that. The other thing I wanted to point out here, on this particular recipe, I don't know if you can see it on the screen here, it says find discount offers for ingredients in this recipe here. So one of the things we've been able to do is to say if somebody wants to make a recipe and they need certain ingredients to do that, they're going to be notified that, hey, there's an offer on flour. If you need flour, go there and get the offer in order to make the recipe and get money off. So when we first launched Nutrisavings back months and months and months ago, we never had that feature, but as customers asked us for it, we said, that would be a good thing to do. So we do have connectivity to healthy offers on the recipes. So I think that's been something that people have found very helpful. How we identify healthy food items, our recipe for scoring. As I mentioned, we developed our own nutritional scoring system. We didn't really want to do that. We wanted to kind of stay arm's length from the scoring of foods. But we found for 3 reasons we sort of had to do it. Number one, we wanted to make sure we could track purchase behavior across retail banners. We certainly wanted to develop a way that people easily could identify healthy food. So we decided to make it numerical, as I mentioned, from 0 to 100, 100 being the best, 0 the worst. The other reason we needed to do it, we felt, was because we needed to be transparent. Some of the scoring systems out there, they score food, but they really don't tell you the algorithm or the means to which, how they got to the score. So we decided to create a document, and it's available to anyone who would like to see it. Email it to anybody. That really details just how we developed our scoring methodology and algorithm, the sources we used, etc. So, we just felt that we needed to do that for transparency today. And again, the other thing was to track purchase behavior across many retail banners because there are certain, like for example, Hannaford has a great scoring system in, Guiding Stars. But we felt that because we have multiple retail partners, we may not be could be beholden to one scoring system. So that's why we developed our own. I'll go through a high-level explanation of what this means. We look at a numerator being healthy nutrients, such as protein and fiber, would be divided by a denominator, which would be unhealthy things in food, such as trans fat and sodium. We would simply add or subtract ingredients. So in the case of whole wheat, we would add that, and it would increase the score. In the case of high fructose corn syrup, that would be subtracted to lower a score. So that's kind of the methodology from a very, very high level. And again, we feel that the scoring system kind of cuts through some of the merchandising at certain stores to get to the root of what's healthy and what's not. So we have a slide here that talks about improving your nutritional IQ. We have 2 pretty familiar products to all of us. On the left, we have Townhouse crackers. On the right, we have Triscuits. Both are reduced fat crackers. Both we feel are about at the same price point. Let's see how they score. The Townhouse scores 10, the Triscuit 87. Some of the reasons for that? Well, the Townhouse has some trans fat, some sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and it's not whole wheat. On the other hand, the Triscuits, 0 trans fat, 0 sugars. It is whole wheat. It's very high in potassium and high in fiber. So we feel that this kind of scoring system allows people very easily, either before they go shopping, because they can do it on our site, or while they're in the grocery store, they could actually do it on their mobile phone to determine really what's healthier and what's not. Okay, how does Guiding Stars work with Nutrisavings scoring? Julie, do you want to address this slide, please?
Sure, no problem. So many of you are familiar with Guiding Stars. We've spent the past 8 years trying to educate our shoppers on this very simple to use system. And like the one that Nutrisavings uses, the system we have credits a product score for the presence of positive attributes and then debits it for the negatives. And the criteria that we use are the same as Nutrisavings. They vary slightly in nuanced ways, but for the purposes of the shopping experience, what we hope is that shoppers will use Guiding Stars to lead them to those higher scoring products. Yes, there are some differences. Guiding Stars is a calorie-based, it's a nutrient density system that uses calories to, it's nutrition per calorie to evaluate a product. So a product that has no calories like bottled water isn't able to earn a score. We do have communication at shelf about those differences, but again, for the purposes of this, as we educated participants for Nutrisavings, we said, hey, foods that earn 1, 2, and 3 stars are going to, generally speaking, they're going to score higher using the Nutrisavings model. Certainly, fruits and vegetables are going to earn 3 stars. They're going to score top numbers in Nutrisavings as well. We're all pointing to those better-for-you foods that we're trying to encourage people to include in their diet. So we're less concerned with those nuances and really more encouraged by both systems point to those better-for-you products, and they're merely a guide to help people make more informed decisions. So that's how we've handled the variety of different scoring systems that are out there.
Yep. Thank you, Julie. One of the things that we like to point out, too, about our numerical system being, because it is 0 to 100, we never want an individual to be consumed with an individual score. What we would like to see is somebody concern themselves with the migration from a lower score to a higher score, because that is an easy way to identify that people are beginning to purchase healthier items. So we don't want people getting down because they got a 35 or whatever. In fact, just to let you know, the average basket score using this 0 to 100 in the country, we have found, is about 35. So it's not very high. But again, it's the migration from a lower to a higher score, seeing incremental behavior change in the right direction that we're concerned about. Okay, our database it encompasses over 200,000 food and beverage items. So anytime you would search for a product, again on the mobile device, on the mobile app, or on your site, you'd always come up with a picture of the product as well as the name of the product and the product score. This you could either add to your favorites or add to your shopping list. We're also going to show you the nutritional panel with ingredients, certain things that are good for you that are called go for it, or certain things you may need to watch, like in this case, added sugar. And then lastly, which I think a lot of people find pretty cool, is the fact that we have healthier alternatives. So anytime you search for a product at a certain score, we're always going to show you 4 healthier options that score higher. And that's right at your fingertips. So we try to, again, make it as easy as we can, as user-friendly as we can in the search for helping people find healthier options. Okay, this is the slide I generally say tries to bring it all together with respects to the mechanics of how we operate Nutrisavings. So this shows you a typical receipt at the grocery store, a number of food items on it, a total of what money this individual has spent. The first thing we do in the process is to score every food and beverage item. So you'll see here there's a variety of different scores based on the food items you see. Likewise, every trip is going to receive an average basket score based on the average score of the food items purchased. The second thing that happens is we go to see, is this individual taking advantage of any of those healthy offers? In this case, this individual is taking advantage of 4 that totals just under $5. So we calculate that. Next, we're going to see if there's any employer incentive funds involved. And in this case, there is. Certain items that have a certain score are being reimbursed at 15%. Higher scored items look like they have a 20% cash back. And in this case, we look at that, and we calculate the dollar incentive on those items. In this case, it adds up to just under $6. We combine that and add it up for the total reward on this shopping trip of just under $11. So it's pretty simple. The other thing I'd mention here is the fact that to keep people engaged, the rewards that are produced here are actually come on the back end. None of the rewards actually come off at the point of sale. And the reason for that being because we're dealing with so many multiples of retailers. Every retailer has their own unique point of sale system. So it really just wasn't possible for us to, accommodate so many point of sale systems. So we find that the rewards coming off on the back end that would come into your Nutrisavings account, which is kind of a virtual online account until you redeem them, again, keep people coming back to the site. We want people to come back, to view the recipes, to look up articles and see different nutritional tips and so on, because the education piece of this is as important as the incentives are. We would estimate that the incentives, the combination of incentives between the unfunded and funded incentives add up to about maybe $300 to $400 a year, give or take. It all depends. Things could vary, but on average, we're looking at $300 to $400 of additional purchasing power for employees. And as I mentioned, redeeming rewards, it comes off the back end. The sponsor of the program, again, typically an employer of a health plan, will have the ability to determine how their employees will redeem their rewards. Today we have 3 we look at: the transfer to PayPal or checking account, transfer to a prepaid MasterCard, or even a donation to charity. This came up in some of our focus groups where people said, how about if I took my savings and wanted to donate it to a food bank? We thought that was a pretty cool idea, so we made arrangements to have that option available. In the product development roadmap, we're thinking about also a way to reduce insurance premium, as well as making deposits to an HSA. That'll be down the road a bit, but those options may be available in the not too distant future. Okay. As we all think about wellness, we know it's really hard to get our arms around, well, how do we measure success? It's very difficult. When you go into the CFO's office, it's going to be, well, what's the ROI, I've been to several conferences this year that talk about instituting a wellness program that would involve not just looking at ROI, but the well-being of your employees. I think that's extremely important. And we have 3 different ways we feel that we could contribute to measuring the success of the program. On a short-term basis, the change in the average basket score can easily track behavior over time. As we mentioned, if you migrate from a 35 to a 75 over 6 months or so, that clearly indicates that somebody's buying healthier food items. The second way is maybe on a medium-term basis, if we had a baseline of biometric measures and people began to purchase and eat healthier, we could say that that could probably influence improvement in some biometric measures. And then lastly, on a longer-term basis, by keeping people well through a more balanced diet, we're also in the business of trying to help employers improve the health and productivity of their workforce. So that's kind of how we try to help you measure success along the way. This is just a screenshot of the employer dashboard. We want to make sure that the employers who use Nutrisavings have access to data at their fingertips. So part of what we do when we implement a new customer is to train them on the use of how they can get data out of Nutrisavings with a number of analytic ways of doing that. Here we have, excuse me, here we have, you can look at number of office sites, of which I know, Maine Health had, well, they have multiple locations, but we actually were on site to about 9 of them during those on-site enrollments. Number of participants, the average shopping score, employee savings. You could even have information that will tell you how many have enrolled their loyalty cards, how many have redeemed offers, all sorts of information. And this would be information that would be right at the fingertips of the employer. And again, we feel that we help you every step along the way. As with Maine Health, we did a number of on-site enrollment fairs with them. This is a picture of 2 young residents, I believe, that were signing up for Nutrisavings at the on-site enrollment fairs up at Maine Health. So on-site enrollment fairs we feel are very, very important. We designate a client partner, a single point of contact for a company coming aboard. Number of communication supports that we offer as well. Number of webinars and trainings, and each organization obviously has their own culture and own way of communicating. So we work with each employer to determine what communication practices would work, and then we can work within that. And again, we have customer support in the way of an 800 number as well. Lori, do you want to just maybe make a couple of comments here?
Sure. I can say that the implementation support that was provided by Nutrisavings, that's Paul on the far left on this slide, just so you can know who Paul is. Next to Paul is Karen Schilling. She's actually one of our oncology dietitians, and she was is part of our implementation team here at Maine Health. And then there's a whole host of the rest are different combination of employees and Nutrisavings support staff that came on site, and it was hugely successful. I actually had doubts as to how successful the on-site sign-up would be, but we registered, over the course of 9 on-site meetings, we registered over 1,500 employees for the Cash for Your Cart program. So we were thrilled with the outcome. And Nutrisavings staff were a delight to have. They were helpful, they were engaging, they invited employees to come over, they made it a fun experience, it was quick. And going back to Paul's earlier comment around the Hannaford private label offers, that was a particular appeal to our employees. It was a local grocery store where probably the majority of our employees do shop, and to see the offers there it was just exciting, and you'll see some more efforts that Hannaford did to support our implementation. They were wonderful hosts. But Nutrisavings, the staff, their team, made this so easy and fun and exciting for our employees. I have to say it's been one of the I would say more exciting program implementations that we've had in the 10 years that I've been doing this work for Maine Health. So, and the staff has been incredibly supportive. We have weekly calls. As we think about the second phase of our implementation, we plan to go to other sites within Maine Health for more on-site signups and continue to communicate through our various channels that we use here to continue to engage employees in the Cash for Your Cart program.
Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Certainly I think Lori and her team at Maine Health made our job real easy because they were great people to work with. They actually created a little team, a little implementation team, and I think we all felt like family at the end, honestly. It was just, we just had a great time, and again, their commitment to wellness and what they do for their employees, made our job really easy. So thank you, Lori. I appreciate that.
Our thanks to you.
Thanks. And then, of course, again, in the partnership of this has been Hannaford. And again, Hannaford helped promote the launch at Maine Health. This is just one of the ways they did that by allowing us to post signage at their various retail stores. Julie, do you want to say anything about this?
Sure. I mean, when you walk into a supermarket, there's a lot of noise going on, and we've got guiding stars out there. We're trying to promote price and all these different messages coming at you. We're hoping that this is just a quick reminder right at the right moment to remind people to scan that card. Hannaford has long been a proponent of no cards, no gimmicks, no hassles, but this card is not a two-tiered pricing system. It doesn't give you the keys to better pricing. What it does is just helps you keep track of what you've purchased. So we just want to make sure people, it's not a habit that a lot of people have. And I think what's exciting about this is a lot of people are forming new habits. And we're hoping that we're reinforcing healthy habits of being aware of what you purchase. And certainly there are ways, as we've talked about, to cheat the system. You could divide and put your cakes and cookies on one end of the belt and divide it into a couple of different ways. But we're still reinforcing making better choices, that you'll be rewarded for making better choices, and we're encouraging that. And the more healthy food you choose, the more you'll save. So there really is something in it for that end user, and not just a financial reward, but hopefully ultimately the reward of good health. And I think that's what's been most exciting about this partnership for Hannaford, is that we're partnering with like-minded organizations. We are all committed to improving the health of the communities we serve, and by joining forces, we're able to really create a unique system for people to participate in that, as Lori was saying, people are really excited about. It's really a win for all of us, and we're really pleased to see the progress we've made so far and encouraged to try other new things. So that's been a real value, and we'll be interested to write the next chapter of this.
Thanks, Julie. Again, a great job, a great partnership, and I think Hannaford really, again, thought out of the box in order to make this happen in conjunction with the launch at Maine Health. So it was just, I think the stars were aligned, honestly. It really worked so well. Thank you. This is just, I'm going to wrap it up now and open it up for questions in just one moment. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on who we are. Nutrisavings is actually a wholly owned subsidiary of a larger company called Eden Red. Eden Red is a 50-year-old plus company operating in 40 countries with 6,000 employees. They've been around for a long, long time. They've done a lot of good work in Europe and some of the developing countries. Their first product actually was over in France called the Ticket Restaurant, where they contracted with a number of restaurants in order to provide lunch at work. So if you used a voucher or a prepaid card, you could actually get a balanced meal through an employee benefit. So other things we do are elder care, child care, expense management. These are all prepaid corporate services. We're kind of a leader in that area. In this country, we're actually located just south of you, down here in just outside of Boston in Newton, Massachusetts. And just to let you know, our company is extremely committed to Nutrisavings here in this country. In fact, as it's going so well, I think we're probably going to end up taking it over to Europe sooner than we thought. So, but just to let you know that we are backed by a very, very large, very reputable organization in Eden. Okay, there's my information. If anybody wants to write that down, my email, my phone number, I would welcome contact from any of you if you have any comments, questions, or if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one demonstration of Nutrisavings itself. I'd be more than happy to do that. We thank you all, and we would open it up now for questions if any of you have questions.
Paul, when you were presenting, a question did come up. Are there any foods that get a negative score?
Hold on one second here. Okay. No, there's no negative score. I guess on the lineage of 0 to 100, 50 is sort of the midpoint. So even when organizations make healthy offers into our system, those healthy offers always have to score at least 50 or higher, or they really can't be included. but there would never be anything like negative or less than 0. 0 is really the worst. Anyone else have, I'm just going through some.
We have another question. Do you see it, Paul? What is the minimum number to participate, needed to participate?
Yes, there's really no minimum, so to speak. You know, obviously our target market is you know, it varies. You know, we really don't have any limit on size. You know, we can go down to as little as, you know, 50 employees or as high as, you know, 10,000 employees. So there really isn't a minimum for us. And we do, you know, as Julie mentioned, as Lori mentioned, we're tending to find that the attractiveness of the program, because of the nature of what it is, you know, people are used to shopping, we tend to get very high levels of participation because people understand it. People do go shopping and they want help at defraying some of the cost of healthy foods. So, but yeah, we would be willing to talk to really any employer. Anything else?
I'm sorry, Paul,
Okay,
there was another one. Are there any costs to the employer to be able to offer this program?
Yes, that's a great question. There is cost to the employer to offer it. You know, excuse me, we have an administrative fee on a per eligible per month basis that we would charge an employer for administering the program. It's volume based, so you know, it kind of goes from, you know, anywhere like around $1.25 down to 20 cents PEPM. And I mean, that's the bulk of the cost. There's sometimes it's like a one-time implementation fee that's paid up front. And depending upon how difficult the implementation fee is, that may vary a little bit. But it's generally in the order of, you know, $2,500 to $3,500 as a one-time fee. And that's really about it. The other obviously cost would incur, an employer may incur is if an employer decides to put incentive funds into the program. So if they wanted to offer, you know, again, 20% cash back up to $10 a month or something of that sort, that would be over and above. But, you know, we're willing to work. We're new, and we're willing to work, you know, in any way we can to, you know, to serve the needs of the employer community. So.
There's another question. Can an employer include dependents on the program?
Yes, they can. They can include dependents on the program. So when you enroll, you can enroll yourself as the employee, and then you can enroll. I think it provides for at least maybe 1 or 2 dependents, but certainly, yeah, dependents can join. Yep. And dependents aren't going to be charged. In other words, the charge comes with per employee per month, so there'd be no additional cost to bring on a dependent.
Well, it looks like we're out of time. If anybody does have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at the Maine Health Management Coalition office, and we'll relay the question for you. Thanks for attending today, and we hope to see you again on October 15th at our annual symposium at USM in Portland. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, everybody. Nancy, appreciate your opportunity here, and thanks for everybody for joining. Have a good day.